prices and shit.
Lots more.
Folks, welcome back to the show where it's not wrestling with your budget. It's not wrestling with your conscience. It is wrestling with emotion. And we are here today to preview the SummerSlam. And with us today, we first have Zach McAdoo. McAdoo, how are we feeling? How are we feeling about the biggest party of the summer right now?
Oh, it feels great. We got the shades, we got the hat. We're repping Cleveland. You gotta give them some love to the host. It's just a great day. We have the United States women's national team up 1-0 right now. Fuck Japan.
Wait. Which jersey are we rocking today? Just so we're clear.
Baker Mayfield. I'll make a joke about that later.
No Johnny Manziel. You couldn't pull that out of the closet.
No, I don't have a Manziel.
All right. Well, you folks watching this might find it odd that I'm introducing you and not the usual Zach Maniac. That is because we have a bunch of Cena clones on site at SummerSlam in Cleveland, Ohio. Let's introduce them. We have the Maniac Zach, we have Slick Saturday, and we have the Prophet Ryan. Gentlemen, how is everything in Cleveland? Can you see anything?
Well, I can't see you. You also should get my name right. My name's not Ryan. It's Rob.
Rob, Ryan, whatever.
Jesus Christ.
You're the Prophet. I said you're the Prophet. Whatever.
He's got the same name as a shitty head coach. Come on.
Shout out to the Comfort Inn. I can see we have a beautiful setting around this great hotel. And yeah, we're ready for a amazing party of the summer. SmackDown last night, Sami Zayn and friends. We took in 8 hours of wrestling content yesterday, and we're ready for 8 hours more today. Let's go, baby. We're ready to clock in.
I want more.
Hustle, loyalty,
This
respect.
is not the only.
Hustle,
This is not the
loyalty,
only people that you can't see. We've got a few more people on site, including Ali and friends. Ali, what is going down there?
Here, and we are in Cleveland at the stadium. We're just so eager for SummerSlam to start. We got our WWE sponsored Prime bottles because, you can't be the Marquis of Smart without that. We got the replica belt. I've got the pleasure of being with David and Khalil, my co-Cenas for the day, along with the Trainwreck Boys. And we're just ready for a great, great night of wrestling entertainment.
It's going to be entertaining for sure. I think we've got basically almost all championship matches lined up for tonight, with the exception of one very marquee match. So there were some questions going into this SummerSlam, I would say, gentlemen, especially considering the World Heavyweight Championship matches, the World Heavyweight Championship and the WWE Championship. But I think they fleshed out these stories pretty well over the last few weeks. Let's go around the horn and get our thoughts on the build-up to SummerSlam. You guys at the hotel room over there, let's start with the Prophet, Slick, and Maniac.
Yeah, at first I was kind of wondering where they were going with a bunch of these stories. It started off slow maybe in the last month, but recently it's really picked up. We saw last night, and I know we'll discuss it later, but now we know it's another Bloodline Rules match for the main event tonight. Obviously obviously Damian and Gunther, the build recently has really picked up and culminated yesterday at the kickoff show and supposedly at Priest's documentary show earlier in the day. And then the other ones are just self-explanatory. Obviously, we have Rhea, Liv, great story. Drew, Punk, great story. Logan, LA Knight, great story. So I think it's been a good build.
Great build. I think the match I'm most looking forward to that I didn't know going in, Liv and Rhea. After watching Liv put that promo yesterday at the kickoff show and the meeting between those two, you could really feel it. It was intense. Rhea put on a great show, did a great promo as well. Liv got the hell out of there before Rhea was even on the stage. Obviously, Damian and Gunther did a good spot as well. But yeah, really excited for that women's world title match.
I mean, and low-key, we were all hoping to see, the man, the myth, the legend, John Cena on SmackDown yesterday. Instead, we get a 25-minute Andrade match. I'm nervous that we might literally not see him tonight. But with that said, the C Nation will be representing here in the C tonight. McAdoo, what are you looking forward to for the party of the summer?
I mean, besides seeing this whole picture of all 6 of you Cenas getting together, I mean, I'm just looking forward to I can't talk because I'm so excited because of not Cody Rhodes, the other one, Priest, Gunther. You guys all got me all the tizzy with the Cenas. I'm sorry, but it's just we've been waiting for this for a while now. Priest and Gunther we've known probably obviously since Gunther won the King of the Ring. It was probably going to be, we thought it was going to be Rollins, but now it's going to be obviously be Priest. But it should be a good match and probably underrated.
All right, Ali, what do you got?
I think they have done a really good job, all things considered. I know there's been a lot of criticism like, oh, there's not really like a huge name like, Roman or a Rock or a Cena to kind of sell this pay-per-view. But I like this new era, and they've done a really good job of building up these matches. I mean, Gunther and Damian Priest, that buildup is insane, just how well they were able to craft that within, 2 or 3 weeks. And then we got probably one of the hottest feuds of the year in Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. I'm super excited. I can't wait. This is probably the most unpredictable pay-per-view in the what's going on?
I'm just flexing my John Cena bicep band here. I'm just making sure everyone knows that I fit it on.
Oh, okay. But I'm very excited. It's very unpredictable. It's probably the most unpredictable PLE under the Triple H era. So that's always a good thing.
Well, we can get into that debate as we go through the matches, but I want to get the word from the guys who have been on the ground for a couple of days at least. Ali, you just got into town, but for the Prophet, Slick, and Maniac, you guys have been taken into the SummerSlam atmosphere. What are some of the things that you've been able to attend and see for yourselves?
Well, at first we started off, we went to the Superstore when we first got here. It was it was good, but I think it could have been better, especially for a SummerSlam store. Obviously, and in that same building, they're doing photo experiences. So we saw Candice LeRae doing one. And then we ventured off to the kickoff show, which was surprisingly very good.
Kickoff show was lit.
Yeah, it really built the stories even more than we were expecting.
Now, if you are a Cleveland fan, though, the Superstore was sick because literally there were 20 to 30 exclusive Cleveland items, Browns-based items, etc. So really catered to them. So credit for that. But they're clearly going for volume there. Then we went to the kickoff. Always cool to see McAfee, Triple H, Michael Cole, etc. Was really shocked to see basically the whole roster there. They did everybody except Cody Rhodes' Solo Sikoa storyline was covered at that pre-show, and all the stars were there, so that was exciting. Then these psychos after SummerSlam wanted to do Sami Zayn and friends at 11 p.m. After SmackDown at the Ookla Theater or Agora. Yeah, but it was pretty crazy. Sami Zayn and friends, they were going at it on stage. They were talking some shit. A certain other company was mentioned. A certain former boss was mentioned.
We're not talking about the CEO.
Seriously.
But yeah, great show. We walked uphill and through snow to get there, it seems like. But great. I think the one thing I just want to elaborate on the Superstore that we can all agree on is WWE does a great job catering to all these individual cities with their PLEs and their exclusive merchandise that is for those cities. Last year with the Detroit, the Lions-themed SummerSlam jerseys. This year with the Browns. The Browns jerseys are ugly as fuck, but somehow the WWE made them look really good with the SummerSlam logo on there instead of the Cleveland. So all things considered, this has been a great weekend so far. And the main event is tonight. It's time, as Bruce Buffer would say.
And if there's a sign of what we experienced yesterday at the Superstore, at the kickoff show, at SmackDown, and at Sammy, there should be a pretty good crowd tonight because it was a hot crowd at all the events we were at yesterday.
I do have to say, too, basically a fourth of the crowd last night at the Sami Zayn show believe in Joe Hendry.
There was literally there was probably like a 10-year-old on stage that was getting the yeet for the whole theater.
It was nuts. It was nuts.
The level with which Joe Hendry and Yeet alone are over is pretty insane.
I've seen
those are probably top 2 out of the 5 things we've heard chanted.
Yeah, I've seen more Jey Uso shirts than anybody, like by a mile, as long as I've been here so far.
Do you guys find it odd, and we can speculate as to how he might be involved, but do you find it odd that Jey Uso is not involved in this show, at least on official capacity?
It was odd until we had Bloodline rules.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
And now we could get Jimmy. We could get Zilla. We could get the final boss. We could get the final chief.
I was going to say, I was upset that we were going to go into a SummerSlam without a stipulation match. So, getting to hear that announcement was so exciting. I was literally looking at David like, we're going to be there. We're going to get to see that. And
all night. That's us tomorrow.
exactly,
It's like
literally.
anarchy in the arena when Justin Roberts goes, ladies and gentlemen, shit's about to hit the fan. Like, that's the equivalent of Bloodline rules for WWE.
Well, technically, we do have another stipulation in Rollins rules for Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. But if I may ask, Maniac, do we have a particular order of shows that we want to go in, or can I just wing it from here?
I was gonna say let's start with some of the more I guess I got Bayley Nia Jax to kick us off here, but from there, why don't you take us on whatever match you want to go on? I will say, Parthy, straight out of your nightmares, we saw a full family all in Yeet shirts last night, 5 of them. From little daughter, 3-year-old to dad at like 45. I'm telling you, I know that you still don't believe in Jey Uso, but
all over the casino.
people were
He's just a hater. Parthy's just a hater.
This will call it Yeatland, not Cleveland right now.
Okay. I am going to mute you guys for a second because I want to set the record straight for the 10 millionth time right now. I am a believer in Jey Uso. I've always thought he's over. I've always thought his Yeet was over. I was just waiting for the crowds to start singing along for them. And sometimes they have, and sometimes they haven't. And don't mind these jackasses trying to distract you with their Cena vibes and whatever. Listen, when you go to an international crowd, they're singing Jey Uso's song. When you go to a good crowd in the United States, they're singing Jey Uso's song. And every crowd is eating, and every crowd is doing the dance. So he's over, and his entrance is over. I just want to hear them sing more often. I want to hear more crowds singing Jey Uso's song. I want to hear them singing Randy Orton's song, for crying out loud. I want to hear them singing Cult of Personality every time Punk comes out. But I digress. Let's just get into the previews for the SummerSlam. And let's start with Nia Jax versus Bayley. This one, I would say, out of all the ones, contrary to what Ali said, I would say most of this card was, at least from my perspective, I wouldn't say easy to predict. I just said I have a definitive pick for them, with the exception of Nia Jax and Bayley. Now, initially, I thought that the way that this was going, with Nia Jax pinning Bayley a couple of weeks, at least 1 week prior, not this past SummerSlam, but 1 week ago SummerSlam, and with Tiffany getting her new briefcase, and that indicating that she's going to hold that for quite a long while, they're instantly selling all the briefcase merchandise that they want to, and you knew that was going to come. I figured, well, is Tiffany cashing in on Nia going to be all that exciting? It's a heel cashing in on another heel, potentially. But the more I thought about it, Bayley has pretty much run through all the credible opponents that I can see on the SmackDown roster, unless they want to have Chelsea Green challenge her the next PLE. But other than that, where do you go with Bayley other than build her back up as a babyface chaser? While if you look at the Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton dynamic, maybe they want to get Tiffany over eventually as a babyface because she's already very popular with every crowd that she's been in front of. And maybe that odd couple dynamic and that tension of will Tiffany cash in, or will she, or when she'll cash in, or if she'll ever cash in, and what moment will she take to do that? Will there be tension building between them leading up to that moment? Will Tiffany simply wait for someone like Charlotte Flair to come back and cash in her Charlotte in the Bank contract to get her instant title match that she always wants to get when she comes back from an injury or time off, and then wait until that moment to cash in on Charlotte as a heel and stay in a heel role? Tiffany might be able to do. So the more I thought about it, the more I thought that the story is in Nia Jax and Tiffany, one holding the championship and the other holding the Money in the Bank briefcase. I think a lot of the feedback we've been hearing is WWE is very pleased with how Nia Jax has been working as a heel, her in-ring work, her microphone work. She's done a lot better than her previous run. And they might like the idea of this monster heel holding onto the title in the women's division over on SmackDown. So I'm going to go with Nia Jax. You gentlemen over in the hotel.
Nia Jax? Everybody's picking Nia Jax. We listened to 3 or 4 preview shows on the way down
I've
here.
seen a few people picking Bayley.
Everyone seems to be picking Nia Jax because she has all this momentum, and Bayley hasn't had that great of a reign yet. I mean, I don't know. I see Bayley, kind of solidifying her reign with this win. I see Nia going into a storyline of the Queen scorned, like the Queen who never was, etc. Going into her corner, and who's going to be talking, whispering in the Queen who never was ear this whole time for the next 3 to 4 months, trying to use her as a pawn in her own game? Tiffy time. So that's where I see it. I got Bailey getting a big win at SummerSlam and solidifying this reign going forward. What do you guys got?
I agree with Maniac. I think I could see after Nia loses that she is sticking by Tiffy's side and out of pity doing everything she can to help Tiffy find the right time to cash in on Bailey to win the title off of her because she couldn't do it herself. I don't see Nia winning this despite the rub they've been giving her a little bit lately. I'm going with Bailey.
So I'm going with Bailey, but I think it's gonna be due to Tiffy trying to do something and she screws up and costs Nia the championship. So then we start getting maybe like a Nia, and like we were saying before, maybe Tiff finally turns face. So maybe there's a feud up in the future for Nia and Tiffy, and it's Tiffy costing Nia the championship.
All right, interesting. So Zach, what do you got?
I'm with you, Parthy. I think Nia wins, and you're going to see Tiffany cash in. I honestly believe that. I think it's
Wow.
Can I consecutive year with a SummerSlam women's cash?
I just say we will be like a few people that have witnessed a couple cash-ins, especially 2 consecutive cash-ins year to year if that happens. So I really hope it does.
I just can't see them giving her the new briefcase yesterday and her already cashing it in today.
I agree. Yeah.
I think they'd add it to the angle because, oh yeah, here's a gift from Nia, and then you cash in the next day and like screw her over.
Use it to like clock.
Did you not want me to use the gift?
Yeah, exactly. See, it makes sense to put it's more fuel to that fire, and it adds to that storyline. So I mean, it's there. Why not use it?
In universe, it makes sense, but in reality, they want to sell all those briefcases as much as they can. They want to milk that cash cow for all it's worth. So Ali, what's your perspective?
I think it's going to be Nia. I know my fellow Cenas disagree with me, but I do think that Nia is going to win here. I think they're going to try to solidify, the Queen of the Ring as something legitimate and something that really is a stepping stone to a championship. And I think it would be a bad start to have the first Queen of the Ring that's really I feel like this tournament was different from all the others where they really tried to make it as prestigious as it once was. They even gave the title opportunity. I think they're going to capitalize on that, and Nia's going to win.
Wow. All right. So we've got pretty much a split board here between all of us. So let's move on here. The United States Championship, LA Knight versus Logan Paul. We saw what went down last night at SmackDown. LA Knight made off with the prime truck that Logan Paul had custom made or probably had gifted to him or something like that. Logan Paul's been in a bit of a hot water, shall we say. We don't know if he's actually in some kind of heat with backstage, but he's been getting pretty crushed online for certain opinions he's been expressing. I don't know if that will contribute to any decisions that WWE have already made about who's going to go over in this match. But I think regardless of this, it's LA Knight's time. It's time to crown his ass, as a former late NFL coach might say. I mean, he's been over for at least a year. We've been predicting him sometimes to win Money in the Bank, sometimes to be booked to win the United States title. We were penciling him in this match in for WrestleMania this past year, or this past WrestleMania, I should say, and it didn't come to fruition. And now they're finally getting around to it. Logan Paul's had he even admitted last night on SmackDown, 2 title defenses in his entire reign for however long that's been now. I think Logan Paul's been trying to make himself not quite the part-time champion that he's been perceived to be, but he just hasn't been around long enough to really give that belt enough prestige that it needs. So I think both because they want the United States title around a little bit longer. I don't know how much more shine Logan Paul can give it with his exposure, mainstream exposure, or whatever else he has with the U.S. title. I think that's been done enough, and I think it's time to finally crown LA Knight. What do you gentlemen over there in the hotel think?
The only point I have to add to what you just said, I think LA Knight finally goes over. Logan Paul's the perfect guy to do it. Nobody except Roman Reigns has really beat him in WWE, from what I can recall in my universe brain. Who did?
Cody.
Oh yeah, okay. So perfect. Even more to my point. Cody, Roman. So this puts him in kind of an elite class, in that tier above him.
Oh, Seth also beat him, but that's the only 3 I can recall.
Well, and Cody on the podcast.
Oh yeah, and there were shenanigans. I showed Speed. Where was he in that match? I don't know. With that said, this puts LA Knight in a great position, like you said, to be their full-time U.S. champion there every week. U.S. Open Challenge could be brought back, who it was made famous by. With that said, I think this also moves Logan Paul into wild card heavyweight championship contender range where they kind of want him to be. He can just be kind of a wild card that shows up, doesn't have a lot of losses on his resume, hasn't really gotten crushed by anybody that's not a huge name, and can still go for a title. Similar to a Gunther right now.
I think everything you guys said is accurate. The only way I'm going to elaborate is you would think everybody that has a homecoming in wrestling is usually going to get cheered. That is not the case with Logan Paul. We were in the building last night. I don't think I heard a single cheer. So obviously,
I was cheering.
There's going to be a lot of his friends in the – yeah, well, you're a mark. So there's going to be a lot of his friends in the building. Hook or crook, they're going to try everything they can to go over the fan favorite of LA Knight. But
it would not surprise me to see Mr. Beast in this match, as crazy as it sounds.
Agreed. LA Knight backed up a certain someone prior when he needed a helping hand. Now, if LA Knight is outnumbered in the land, I think we know who might come to give him a helping hand and help him win the United States title in Cleveland. Give Logan Paul like the equivalent of a Cleveland screw job. An FU from Cena, 1, 2, 3, and new. Yeah.
Wait. So give him a Cleveland steamer as Cena once
That's what.
Rock.
Oh, ridiculous!
I mind ones too, Parthy.
Ridiculously inappropriate.
I don't even know that's PG.
That's it. Don't forget.
Wait.
PG, bro.
All right.
What do you got, Prophet?
Respect me.
Respect.
You don't
Rob.
call me a mark.
Respect, Rob.
Hustle, loyalty, respect.
Respect,
you
Rob.
respect the Prophet. Second, just like this show, you know whose game this is. LA Knight.
Yeah. McAdoo, what you
All
got?
right, so that's all he's got, McAdoo.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
So
Yeah.
because I saw some comments last night complaining about what Logan Paul said. Is he a face or a heel? Someone remind me here.
Heel.
Yo.
Yeah, thank you. So what is he gonna do? He's gonna say shit you don't like to make you hate him, right?
Well, I mean, there's a fine line between saying things we don't like to make
MJF
us like him as a person versus as a character.
Was a hero.
I'm
and
not
he was
going on
in Plainview, Long Island.
He's our scumbag.
I'm talking about what he said because I don't know what he said on SmackDown last night. I'm gonna be clear.
He said some shit.
What?
He said basically no one else will come out of Cleveland because they're all like no one else successful will come out of Cleveland because they're all lazy and not built like him. Basically,
Tried to give himself a championship banner.
he had a homecoming and then just trashed like his own home crowd. It was awesome. I feel like Cleveland sucks. Like
It was a home
I mean,
crowd.
Cleveland also roots for Deshaun Watson, so take that for what it's worth.
Oh,
But-
now we're just getting into everything.
Yeah, well,
Oh, yeah, just wait, motherfucker.
WWE also cheered Vince McMahon after a certain story came out, so I'll just leave it at that.
The universe does have some explaining to do for that.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I don't know why they cheered him after his retirement. But
They
anyway,
were bowing down.
back to the point. LA Knight, yeah.
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 Ollie, anything else?
I just got one word for you. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're pretty much all on the LA Knight Express, and it's going to be heading towards the U.S. title. No surprises there. I think we've all been pulling for LA Knight to finally get this title or to get some big, meaningful win. Like Logan Paul said, when in your career have you had a defining moment? I think LA Knight's about to get his defining moment. Speaking of defining moments and speaking of big title wins, we've got an Intercontinental title championship match between Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn. Now, Braun, to the surprise of many, not me because I picked Sami Zayn and I was right, Sami Zayn actually went over Braun Breaker in the last pay-per-view and Money in the Bank, but now they're basically just running this match back. And I think it's pretty telling that Braun Breaker is going to get his big Intercontinental title win in a big stage at the SummerSlam in front of all these people. It's gonna be where he took Sami Zayn lightly the last time, and he's not going to take him lightly this time. I don't know if it's going to be it's not going to be a decisive squash. It'll be a competitive match, but Braun Breaker is going to look pretty strong coming out of this. And it's time for, like everybody was clamoring for a month ago, for Braun Breaker to be put over as the Intercontinental Champion. So you boys over there, all the C Nation, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I just can't see them. I love Sammy. Like I said, his show last night was great. He's a great wrestler, but I just can't see them screwing up this opportunity again for Braun because I don't think they can give him a third chance if he loses here. So you got to give it to Braun and you got to let him take off.
I just want to say the U.S. is playing Puerto Rico in basketball in the Olympics, and they're only winning by 1 point approaching halftime. Anthony Edwards just missed a free throw. This is pathetic. But I think the first match was great, and I've enjoyed the build to the second one even more. These guys are both two of my favorite wrestlers. Braun has quickly ascended as one of my favorites in WWE. He's different. He's built different. He's a specimen. I think I was telling Zach and Rob on the car ride yesterday, I could see a WrestleMania event in like 10 years being Braun Breaker versus Jacob Fatu or some shit. But Braun Breaker is going to get his moment here. If we didn't already think it was going to happen in the first one, I think Sammy deserved to get that credible win. Braun needed like that first loss, that first lesson in the WWE that he can learn from. But I think he gets one back here on Sammy, and they probably have a trilogy at Bad Blood or Survivor Series.
Yeah, I think that this is literally 3 birds, 1 stone. You were able to keep the title on Sammy against Braun to give Sammy some legitimacy, not just have him defend it against Gable and ultimately lose it. You're able to kind of give Braun a bigger spot to ultimately ascend as the Intercontinental Champion at SummerSlam at a bigger PLE. And then ultimately, most importantly, Sami Zayn doesn't have a title for this 3-month run-up where we might be in need of an honorary Uce.
All right, McAdoo, what's your thoughts?
I mean, I picked Braun at the last one. You really think I'm going to go against him now? I'm Braun Breaker, obviously.
What's with the attitude
McAdoo
today,
is so McAdoo, sassy McAdoo.
I want to see the absolute destruction of Sami Zayn.
Wow.
I really hope Braun
we
just
saw him
absolutely
last night.
destroys him. What was that?
Wait. So you're basically hoping for Brock Lesnar, John Cena 2014?
Yeah, like absolute demolition. I want to see.
Pay no attention to those clowns in the window.
I want. All right, guys, stop. I want to see Braun, get his flowers, and I want to see him destroy Sammy and just go on an absolute tear, as I see Tim.
Relax. No, you two need to relax.
All right, I guess we're all across the board once again on another big title change in the mid card. Braun Breaker over Sami Zayn. So let's go into the upper cards, the world titled pictures here, and let's start with Deling General Gunta against Damian Priest Campion.
Can I just say that at the kickoff show, very handsome man, by the way.
Oh, you think so?
What an entrance. Yeah, I think you'd agree, Partham, right?
Well, he's definitely in better shape than he used to be a few years back, so
Definitely
sure.
better shape than you. Oh, sorry. Did I say that? My bad.
Anyway,
Keep
I
in
would
mind,
think
I can't get his bicep thing on.
Hey,
So
mine's
just
more
remember.
toned than yours.
Okay, yeah, toned.
all right, gentlemen, we can all trade workout secrets later. I would say most people have been saying up to this point that Damian Priest's title reign has been good, but not quite what it could have been. Some people have been critiquing his live promos as opposed to his backstage segments and his pre-recorded promos, which seem to be very good. But something about when he gets there on a live microphone, it's not quite what we expect. But I think this past week where he just came out as Gunther was talking shit about him and everybody else in the crowd, and he just decided, screw this, hit him with a microphone, pull apart brawl to start the show, much more effective. And I think people have been giving Damian Priest a lot more flowers in the last few weeks as he's been building up his match with Gunther. That being said, there's been some debate back and forth I've heard in certain circles. Do you crown Gunther here or do you crown him at Bash at Berlin? I could see them crowning him at Bash at Berlin, but you risk running, like we just said, another Braun Breaker Sami Zayn scenario where if you put Damian Priest over Gunther, how does Gunther get back another title shot? I mean, Braun Breaker just went and destroyed everybody and said, give me another shot, and Sami Zayn obliged him. But that doesn't seem to be Gunther's style to ask for another shot after he's been, if he credibly gets defeated. So, and you also have to remember, this is the winner of the King of the Ring, and you want to make sure that that title shot means something. So as much as a crowning moment in Bash at Berlin would be nice for Gunther, I think you have to crown him here on a big stage in front of a large crowd and have him go into Bash in Berlin as the World Heavyweight Champion. Damian Priest has a lot of things going on with Judgment Day that I think are about to break. They may break in this match. They may break in another Judgment Day match that we're about to talk about. But I think ultimately Gunther is the World Heavyweight Championship to be crowned, and I think you do it right now rather than later. C Nation, what do you got?
All right, I'm gonna go first. Sorry, Prophet. Sit the fuck down. With that said, this is gonna be my hottest take in my history of a half a decade of doing these shows on Trainer. I'll give you my hottest take. If I have to predict one side or the other, I'm actually gonna predict Damian Priest. But as my tentative logical lock-in pick, I'm actually picking a double count out in this match or a double 10 count. These two are going to go a 40 to 45 minute classic. They're both going to go through a table or some platform, and it's going to be an epic match that makes 2 stars and ultimately, unfortunately, leaves us with no result. We're going to have 2 stars, though. That's the thing, and that's what WWE wants to do. Then we run it back to Bash at Berlin, the Triple H recipe, and we give it to Gunther in a match where no side really won in this one. And then they go to Bash at Berlin, and Gunther gets his crowning. That's my take.
Interesting way to get to Bash at Berlin without having Gunther sustain the loss. So Slick, what do you think?
I think everyone's overthinking it. I've heard a lot of people picking Priest. I think Gunther, this is his time. If you take the Intercontinental title off him, this is why you're doing it. It's to give him the big boy title. I think Gunther takes it over Priest. Like Maniac said, probably 45-minute classic, but I got a winner coming out of this one, and it's the Ring General. And new.
You have to be very careful with Priest in this spot. That's all I'm going to say. Because just like the Bailey, the Bailey has been luckily on the main roster now for 10 years. So even if her reign falls a little bit flat, it's not the end of her life.
Yeah.
This could be it for Priest. Like because he might not get into this spot again. I'm saying El Campeón.
Win the Royal Rumble.
I think if you build his character up enough after his title run, that he might get another shot at it, whether it's another World Heavyweight title or WWE title. But Prophet, what are your thinking?
I was looking at TV. I can see this one going both ways. The Prophet is talking.
We can hold off in the Olympic play-by-play for a couple of minutes here, guys. Prophet, what do you got?
Yeah, but
no.
So I think Gunther's going to win here. I don't think you can have risk having both King and Queen of the Rings lose or double count out something which is still lost. It's not the championship's not on them. So I think Gunther gets his title reign here, and we'll see if it's a long one again like his Intercontinental reign.
Thanks, guys.
All right, McAdoo, who do you believe in? The Ring General or El Campeón?
So all from Gunther won the King of the Ring. Gunther's winning at SummerSlam. He's gonna take it. They're gonna crown him. Then this week I started reading some stuff. It's like, it makes a lot of sense for him to be crowned in Germany. But like you guys said, I don't think they can hold off. I think they have to give it to him now. It just makes too much sense to give it to him now instead of waiting and just let him walk into Bash at Berlin with the title instead of not. So I'm going to take the Ring General.
Ali, what do we think?
I'm thinking Priest is walking out of this champion. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I think Priest is walking out champion, and we're going to run it back at Bash in Berlin, and that's when we're going to crown Gunther. I don't really have much rhyme or reason behind that other than just my gut and been watching wrestling my whole life. I have a feeling Damian's coming out with the win. Maybe not win, but he's going to be champion.
Now. What does WWE love doing more than making the universe feel like they're important? Putting a tie between the two of this and then going into Bash in Berlin with the same situation. That crowd is going to be rabid.
It's going to be a raucous crowd for sure. I mean, the international crowd.
And then on the flip side, if Gunther wins this, who the hell in their right mind would go up against Gunther in his first defense in Bash in Berlin?
I would pick Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is basically been guaranteed by Damian, if I retain, then you'll get the first shot. And maybe Gunther will say, well, you know what? Damian was going to give you the first shot. Well, I'll give you the first shot now.
Fuck it.
Hell no. If he comes out and Rollins expects that deal to be on it, you go to the back of the line for my title, Seth.
But then Seth will just, do a dance in front of him and, set him off somehow, and he'll get his match. He'll get his match that way.
Yeah,
but anyway, Judgment Day's night is anything to add?
I was just saying, for that instance, Seth is going to be busy for a few months with. Obviously, we're going to talk about it with Punk and Drew. So I don't know what's going to happen if Gunther wins.
I have some thoughts about that, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Speaking of the Judgment Day, their night's not going to be over with Damian Priest, because we are going to have Ripley.
Their night might be over. They may have just got arrested outside of First Energy Field.
We'll see if they can rejoin, if Ali can rejoin us with the other half of the C Nation here. But what we're going to be joined by at SummerSlam is Mommy Rhea Ripley's return to the ring, trying to get the World Heavyweight title that she never lost against Liv Morgan and her revenge tour. Gentlemen, I think the story has to go on for a little bit longer than we think it is. I don't think Rhea gets her title back right away. And I think there are going to be certain things going on with Dominic Mysterio being involved, specifically in a word.
Shenanigans!
Going to be serious shenanigans in this match, and whether or not Dom simply inadvertently costs Rhea Ripley the title, or maybe this is the moment where he does the turn. Maybe he becomes Daddy Dom to Liv Morgan and helps her deliberately retain the title. But one way or another, I think Liv Morgan, for the time being, is retaining the Women's World Heavyweight Championship over Mommy. You guys that I can't see, what do you see in this match?
I'll kick it off because I'm short and sweet. This is going to be a banger. Triple H has done a great job. This is one of two matches. The second we'll talk about shortly, where both, personas are over in an incredible way going in, regardless of whether they're face or heel with the crowd. So credit to the work they've done. With that said, Liv Morgan will retain by help with some male member of the Judgment Day. I don't know who it is, but there's some male member of the Judgment Day.
So you're predicting maybe somebody else gets involved?
Yeah.
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor, thank you.
I would expect Finn Balor. I mean, we could see a crazy wild card JD McDonough triple turn, but I don't think he's big enough to carry his own story at this point.
Well, that head's big enough to carry anything. Slick, what do you got?
I've seen a lot of people going different ways with this. Will Dom intentionally help Liv? Will Rhea just win outright? I'm on Liv, which is tough because these are two of my favorite female wrestlers in the business, I think, not just in WWE. But I think it takes credibility away from Liv's title reign if you just give it back to Rhea after Liv winning it from the drop of the title that Rhea had to do. So I think Liv's going to take it for that reason. And I think I do agree with people that Dom's going to get involved and be a big determinant in this match. But I think Dom is going to unintentionally help Liv win while trying to help Rhea. And like you said, it's just going to drag the story on, and it's going to add layers to the whole Mommy, Daddy Dom, Liv Morgan revenge tour. We could be in this bitch till WrestleMania. We have no idea. So I'm going to go with Liv.
To your point, bringing credibility to Liv Morgan's reign, she's only had, I believe, one title defense, and that was on TV rather than a PLE. Yeah. Since she's won it from Becky Lynch on Raw all those months ago.
I was surprised for Rhea even to be back. Going back for her title this soon. I didn't think we'd get to see this match at the SummerSlam, but here we are, and I'm glad we are.
Shout out to Liv for giving it back to the common folk on regular TV, not a PLE.
All right, Prophet.
Yeah, I think to just add on to Slick's point, I feel like I always was expecting this match here as long as Rhea was healthy. It was a no-brainer, especially when Dom started getting involved with Liv. Now, on that hand, Liv will win this match, but it will be due to help from either Dom or Finn.
Yeah.
It's the only thing. It's I feel like it's going to be Dom just because they have Rhea as a face. Most likely, Damian's going to be a face, if not already. And then you just can't have Dom become a face. he's so over as being a heel with the booing and all that. He'll never be able to get to become a face. So I think it's going to be Dom either helping Liv on purpose or an accident, but Liv will retain.
I will just add this. If Dom intentionally helps Liv win and screws over Rhea, in my opinion, he's the greatest heel of all time.
Yeah.
Like, there's not even a debate if he does it, like, very intentionally.
What's
flips off the
more
crowd.
heelish than throwing away a situation that the entire
World
WWE
wants.
universe is jealous of him that he has, for sure.
For a better one,
yeah,
almost.
yeah, for
We'll get to that debate in a second, but McAdoo, I want to hear your thoughts.
So the United States is up by 17 just for the half. Just thought I'd throw that in there. I'm saying this is probably I'm gonna try to equate this to football. Dom is gonna be like the Cleveland Browns, and he's gonna just like the Browns picked the wrong quarterback. Dom's gonna pick the wrong woman. Liv is gonna win with help from Dom.
All right. Speaking of the right or the wrong woman, gentlemen, I just want to hear your personal preference, not in this match, but personally, Liv or Rhea.
Who'd you ask that?
Yeah, who'd you ask?
All you guys, starting with you.
If I'm Dom, I gotta go with Rhea. Rhea's been there for me through the thick and thin. Like, she's clearly supported me this whole time. I mean, that's a no-brainer. You gotta go with the sure thing, the one who supported you the entire time. I know that he's tempted by the Liv wild card, and it seems a little crazy for sure. But you gotta go with Rhea, the sure thing, like, the one who's been there for you, the one you cultivated this nice relationship with.
Hey, I'm Australian, so I love Rhea. I really do. Also, before I gotta preface this. I don't have the best experience with women.
His judgment's terrible.
So don't listen to me. No pun intended. It's the Judgment Day.
Literally, it's Judgment Day would be Slick's faction.
As much as I love Rhea, I love crazy blonde girls. So I gotta go with Liv.
I'm going with Liv.
So McAdoo, you would be going with Rhea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Just to get my thoughts on the record, if I were Dom, I mean, first off, Liv makes a great point. She helped him get his first win over his deadbeat dad, and Rhea was never able to do that. Is Dom staying with Rhea out of obligation or fear? Because Rhea's been, all that time Rhea hasn't been around and Liv's been flirting with him. He hasn't had any repercussions. And now that Rhea's back, he's, being extra cautious about, getting within 50 feet of Liv Morgan and finally having to basically tell her off, I hate you and all this stuff and cursing her in Spanish. I think he's overdoing it a little bit.
That was fucked up. You should never treat a nice blonde lady like that. There's no reason for that.
Yeah. All right. So
even close.
Get the fuck out of here.
All right, so looks like the Judgment Day has a complicated night ahead of them. We don't seem to be rejoined by Ali. We'll try to get his picks later on. Let's go to the one match in this SummerSlam that doesn't have a title, but is probably the most anticipated. The biggest blood feud that we have going on: CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. Special guest referee Seth Rollins, and it's Rollins rules, which means whatever he wants to go, goes. Now, of course, I'm just going to come out and admit I'm a bit of a CM Punk mark.
Oh, really? Wow.
What?
I know, breaking news here at Wrestling with Emotion. But just because I'm a bit of a mark, just a little, I don't let that cloud my judgment. Because I can see the long game here.
Picked him first overall.
Yeah, but we're not doing that right now. We're not. Wait,
to be honest, clarify to me. Dude,
Does the win-loss record in real life affect our rosters once we have?
No, I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to go on record because I've been pretty critical of CM Punk. I think the Young Bucks didn't handle it great or whatever. AEW didn't handle it great. I still think CM Punk could have handled it better too, for sure. Like that's not. Why did that come up? I'm saying, but because I'm talking about why I've been so critical of him in the past, especially the past year. If you're right there, Mister, go drink some more prosecco. With that said, now that we're looking at what he's done, when I was at the pre-show yesterday, McIntyre, like tons of cameras go up. When I saw, like Gunther, tons of cameras go up. When CM Punk came out, every single fucking person's camera went up. It was absolutely fucking insane. And that's why he's a draw. That's why he's marquee. That's why he's got a main event match. That's why he's been able to have one of the best feuds in wrestling over the past 4 to 5 months by basically being a douchebag, but also carrying it on the mic with promos and stuff like that. So super excited for this match. And yeah, I just want to give credit to CM Punk because I have been critical of him, but there's an absolute reason that he's a massive draw and he's one of the biggest draws.
I do want to say too, because I'm the next most critical. I love CM Punk.
Love him. Ready to go.
Is he a douchebag? Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Is it okay to be a douchebag sometimes? For sure. Has he done it in situations where maybe like you should do it a different time?
Would the wrestling landscape be sick if a healthy CM Punk was still in AEW? I think it would be a little bit even more festive.
It'd be
sure.
like 2021.
But with that said, I accept his and I'm excited for CM Punk, Drew McIntyre.
And it seems like AEW seems to have their own problems going on even after Punk's departure. But we can get into that in a later show after the SummerSlam is concluded. And I would suggest going and checking out Michael Cole's interview with CM Punk on WWE's YouTube, about a 10-minute interview. I think very poignant answers Punk gave on a lot of questions there about his return and everything that's happened leading up to it. But let's talk about CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. I think this feud is going to be in it for the long haul. It's already been in it for the long haul. We just haven't gotten a match out of it. But I don't think it can't conclude with one match. I think Drew McIntyre is going to go over here, and I think it's going to go over in a special way. I think we all know our history. I think we all know the match that this is sort of mirroring. If you think back to SummerSlam 1997, Heart and Soul, Bret Hart versus The Undertaker with Shawn Michaels as the special referee, there were certain stipulations hanging over. What was it?
We have a shirt of that match graphic in the Superstore right now.
Nice. I'm sure they do. That's a nice
I mean, that might be intentional to your point.
Oh, yeah. So. I think it's very intentional. Back in that match, there were some stipulations hanging over both Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. Both, if Bret Hart was not able to win the title, he would not be allowed to wrestle in the United States. If Shawn Michaels didn't call the match down the middle, he would not be allowed to wrestle in the United States. Now, there's no stipulation per se hanging over Seth Rollins other than do a good job, which Adam Pearce is expecting him to do because no other referee is stepping up. So the storyline goes. But I think we're going to get a very similar.
Shawn Michaels went to NJPW. Could he have been the original belt collector?
It's a nice little what if. I think we're going to get a similar finish here. If it's Seth Rollins' rules, then there's going to be no quibbling over the use of foreign objects, I think, as it were, because that was the impetus of the finish of the SummerSlam 97 match. But I think in this scenario, even though CM Punk is the Bret Hart guy, and Drew McIntyre, when he was away from WWE, I think at TNA, some were comparing him to their Undertaker, so to speak, a big, imposing figure. But I think the roles are a bit reversed here because Drew McIntyre has been the one who's constantly complaining about being screwed, this and that, and of course, very deliberately so by CM Punk. But I think Drew, as much as CM Punk and Seth Rollins loathe each other, I think Drew McIntyre is going to be the one to lose his temper first and incite Seth Rollins into attacking him, maybe with a chair or some other implement. And he winds up heading CM Punk. And of course, because Seth Rollins has to call this match down the middle, he's expected to call it, even whether there's a stipulation hanging over his head or not.
I like that.
He's forced to count the 1, 2, 3 for Drew McIntyre to get the win over CM Punk. Now, I think I can see the vision here. The follow-up on Raw, where CM Punk got involved in Seth Rollins' business when Drew McIntyre cashed in his Money in the Bank, and Punk saw fit to screw Drew's cash-in opportunity over, and subsequently essentially cost Seth the match as well. And Seth said, hey, you got in my business, so now I'm going to get in yours. Punk's going to come out the next night on Raw. I can see this and say, you know what? You basically screwed me over, and now I consider us even, but we're going to handle our business at some point down the road. I still got my pound of flesh to get from McIntyre and that bracelet to get back, which I don't think he will get back just yet. So they're going to put a pin in Seth Rollins versus CM Punk for the time being, and they're going to continue on with Punk versus McIntyre. But for the time being, I think McIntyre is going to go over. So what do you Fruity Pebbles think?
Whoa.
All right,
I'm saying anything Dwayne never said before.
Oh, no. He's scrolling the brand. He's scrolling the brand.
Cancel him!
What does he need?
Give me
Which one do you want?
Take your time, gentlemen. We're just doing a live.
fucking mark!
He's
That's
scrolling.
what I am quoting The Rock.
I think you're saying,
PG, brother.
can we all agree that there's no way that like CM Punk should beat the shit out of Drew McIntyre tonight? Like Drew McIntyre right now should literally be able to just like physically dominate CM Punk. First match back, hasn't had ring action in like 5 to 7 months or whatever. Should be able to dominate. Now I get from a wrestling angle, yeah, maybe Drew McIntyre goes into the ring post or like something like that from his recklessness. Or like you said, maybe Seth is trying to call it down the middle, and that drives Drew insane because he's waited so long to get his hands on CM Punk, something like that. I think Drew ultimately wins. I think we're in for some good storytelling and some craziness, which is what makes wrestling great. What do you got?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it's a great point. I think the match should start as a total domination from Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre should literally kill him.
I think
for the first 3 to 4 minutes.
I think he's ragdolling CM Punk around the ring, absolutely beating him up with strikes, any move possible, maybe even hit a Claymore or two. This match is going to be pure domination from McIntyre for at least 10 minutes. And then CM Punk is going to do what CM Punk does and make everyone believe somehow that he's going to beat the odds. Against all odds, the underdog, CM Punk, the guy that wasn't supposed to be marquee. He's going to win the match. Oh, my God, he hasn't wrestled in so long, and he was getting beat up. But oh, my God, he might do it. And then a Claymore is going to come out of fucking nowhere. Drew McIntyre might even go to Claymore Punk, hit Rollins. A lot of shit might break out. I think you and I both talked about there might just be a brawl between the three of them at any given point in this match. And Rollins rules, we don't know what that means. It's the first time we're going to see it. So I'm excited, but I have Drew McIntyre. Both guys cannot afford a loss, which is tough. But CM Punk has been in a ring in like 6 months. And Drew McIntyre has been taking embarrassing loss after embarrassing loss. Storyline or not, it's embarrassing for his character as beast of a guy that he is. So I think he has to win this match.
Yeah, I think they're both going to beat the hell out of each other, including Seth. I think Seth is also going to get involved somehow. But I don't think there may just not be a clear winner. I know Seth says there will be a winner in this match, but I think all hell is just going to break loose. And who knows what's going to happen. And if there is a winner, it is going to be Drew, but I don't think it's going to be like some dominating or anything. I think it's going to be one of those pins where like he just so tired he does like a Claymore and he's so tired he just like falls on the Punk or just like reaches over the arm and 1, 2, 3. I don't think it's going to be something where he's like standing tall afterwards.
Mac, what do you got?
I believe it's going to be like 97. I think you're going to see Rollins hit a super kick on Punk. McIntyre is going to take the win, and we will see either a triple threat at Berlin or a Punk versus Rollins match in Germany.
Simple as that. So we've all got Drew McIntyre, another clean sweep. I mean, I think that we've only had 2 matches where we've had any sort of dissenting opinions this far. So let's conclude this affair of the SummerSlam preview with the match everybody's been waiting for, but maybe not so much the match, but the implications of the match. The WWE Undisputed Champion, Cody Rhodes, versus the, quote, head of the table, Solo Sikoa. And gentlemen, what are we thinking? I'm going to go around the table first, and I'll give my thoughts then. Huey, Dewey, and Louie, what are your thoughts on how this is going to go down?
This guy, seriously, I'll tell you what. I mean, we saw him earlier. He knows hosting is no fun, so I'll let him have that little one. With that said, so we got Solo Sikoa, you got Tongaloa, you got Tamatonga, you got Jacob Fatu. That's 3 right there. You got likely Jimmy Uso looming. Like, I'll put him at a half. You got Jay Uso looming. I'll put him at a half. And then you obviously have the tribal chief who literally can't stop getting chanted. There's 0%. I just hope that nobody on this panel is going to be like, I think he might come out. Yeah, he should. No, he's 1,000% coming back at some point during the event tonight. So you got 3 right there. You got 2 halves and 1. So my question to you guys, over under 5 people from the bloodline involved in tonight's main event final.
I think there's going to be even
because I think ultimately we're going to have Cody Rhodes retain. We all agree that Cody Rhodes is walking out the championship. So ultimately, the discussion on being insiders for Wrestle with Motion here is how is this all going to go down? I think it's literally going to be WrestleMania Part 2, but it's going to be all Bloodline or people who have been specifically involved with Bloodline. Like Undertaker didn't really have a Bloodline storyline. That was more the theatrics of WrestleMania, everything like that. I wouldn't be surprised to see Randy Orton get involved with the fact that the Bloodline took him out. I wouldn't be surprised to see Sami Zayn maybe make his jump here. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the two super wild cards. You have Paul Heyman, who got taken out a couple weeks ago. Could he jump in at some point with Roman? Could he jump in with Brock? And then last but not least, could we see early return from Roman? Shit gets crazy. Full on like Bloodline Roman side is winning when the final boss's music strikes. And we find out that he was the one calling the shots. And we have Bloodline Civil War set for Survivor Series.
I think it's going to be even bigger than WrestleMania Bloodline rules. We're gonna see Tama Tonga. We're gonna see Tongaloa. We're gonna see Jacob Fatu. We're also for Cody's side. We're probably gonna see KO. We're gonna see Randy. We're probably gonna see Roman. We could see Hikuleo. We could see Jimmy.
No Hikuleo tonight.
I mean, you never know. You could see Jay, and then that's 9 already. And then at 10th, who knows if the final boss comes? We could have 10 guys coming out during this match.
Who's your prediction?
Well, obviously Cody's gonna win, but I'm just saying for the Bloodline rules part, I think it could be all hell broken loose. Hell's gonna freeze over, as we like to say.
All right, let's be realistic. Because real quick, again, we're all predicting Cody to retain. It's going to be 30 to 45 minutes of like a crazy spot fest, probably wrestling around the ring. I would assume the blood. Now, what I would like to see is Solo get the Bloodline members out there sooner. Roman had no Bloodline members out there the whole time doing Bloodline rules. He was kind of an idiot. He kind of looked like a dumbass. Like, why doesn't Solo not be a dumbass and bring them out sooner? Then we get crazier hijinks sooner and everything kind of goes to shit. Could be a little bit more fun.
My prediction obviously is Cody to retain, but I'm going to go on the record and saying Cody retains, Solo and Bloodline, theatrics in the ring afterwards.
Stand tall.
Final boss.
Wow.
Then the tribal chief. Final boss, everyone goes nuts. They're like, why is he here? He's pissed. He's pissed at this Bloodline shenanigans. He joins the new Bloodline, stands tall with them, throwing ones up with Solo and the Fatus when the fucking tribal chiefs music hits.
Triple H also knows in the back of his brain, no matter how good they do returns, no matter how good they do anything, All In 2021 had the best double return of all time. All Out. And this could be a chance to kind of one up that. If you have Roman and The Rock both come back tonight.
Well, yeah, I would say that they like to spread out their returns and debuts. But McAdoo, what do you think?
Now that Snap, Crackle, and Pop are done.
This jabroni.
I'm telling you, it's serious. I love how WWE fans hated Roman for the longest time. They're like, oh, this is so fucking overblown. He's just throwing it in our throats. And now they're asking for him to come back. Like,
fickle.
we want Roman. We want Roman. Daniel Bryan was right about you fuckers. You are the most fickle pieces of shit ever.
MJF said it.
Who the hell? Oh, Daniel Bryan said it first. Fickle.
I don't acknowledge him.
Fickle.
All right.
That being said, Roman returns. I don't care anything else. I just want to point that out.
Well, all right, guys.
Bro, this is the business of pro wrestling, bro. Like, fans are never gonna change.
Okay, I'm gonna throw out an over-under right now. 38 and a half minutes. 38-30.
I don't know.
I'm just saying right now. Do you got over-under?
Keep in mind, this is a 7-match card. This is a 7-match card. Even though they are starting at 7.
Really high on
It's starting at 6:30. Isn't the card?
Starting at 7.
It's starting at 7.
Bro, we spent too much time at the casino yesterday.
7
He
matches.
loves his
Oh,
over-unders today.
shush.
No.
7 matches. You start at 7 o'clock. If you do 30 minutes match with 10-minute promo ads on, that's like 4 or 5 hours.
You know that's not going to happen. You know there's only going to be probably it's a 4 or 5 hour show with probably maybe 2.5, 3 hours of actual wrestling.
Yeah, but okay. Well, am I correct? So then you're all going under
I
38,
know, but
30.
No,
for this
I'm
one,
over.
you're
I don't
over.
know. For this
I'm
one,
over.
I think it's over. But I think your other no. But you've had 2
I have
matches.
not said it. Well,
Wait,
what match? What match?
Damian and Gunther, you said like 35.
Because
40
they need to
minutes.
make them stars. They need to make them stars, and that's important. That could be a
Yeah, but it's not
35-minute
like a
match for sure.
AEW does that stuff. WWE doesn't really have
Because
these long
AEW
matches.
is where the best wrestle.
Yes.
Okay. I think we can all agree that this is going to be an epic match, however long it goes. I'm going to go under just because of time constraints, just because they're not usually in the business of doing matches longer than 30
How
minutes,
about this?
especially in PLE.
45 minutes over under from the first entrance.
Okay. If we're going from are we going from entrance to bell till final bell, or are we going from
First entrance musical note to final bell.
It will be about 45.
It's only over 45.
So again, I'm saying 38, 30 isn't that off?
Just-
the entrances aren't going to be over 8 minutes long.
Just a titch under.
All right. Well, if it wants,
entrance is going to count as part of the match, basically, unless the final bell goes.
sure. All right. So my perspective is, I don't think we're getting the final boss just yet. I don't think they're going to put all their eggs in one basket. We are definitely going to see Roman. The only question I have is how and where does Jimmy factor in? Does Jimmy return first to sort of do the tribal chiefs, the real tribal chiefs bidding, and then the tribal chief? I've heard the suggestion. Roman usually doesn't get involved himself. He usually has his minions do his bidding, but his minions are basically down to one, and that's Jimmy Uso. Maybe Jimmy's the one who comes out, maybe under a mask, maybe gets out from under the ring, and he interferes with the new Bloodline's attempts at shenanigans, and basically not costs Solo the match, but keeps Solo from trying to win the match via chicanery and skullduggery and all that stuff. And then as he walks back up the mat, this was a Jason Solomonster's suggestion, I should say, and it's a very good one, I would say. As Jimmy walks up the map, we hear the head of the table music come out, and both Roman and his special counsel, Paul Heyman, return, and it's a stare down from the ring to the ramp of the old Bloodline and the new Bloodline. If Roman himself is going to get physically involved, I would say he comes out after the conclusion of the match, where Solo and the rest of them are basically beating down Cody. Maybe I was going to say Kevin Owens is another guy that might want to get involved, and Randy and him come out to try and save Cody, and it's basically just Jacob Fatu just annihilates them and puts them to the side. And then we hear Roman Reigns music, and Solo's in shock, like, wait, you're not supposed to be here. Roman gets in the ring. He looks at Solo, smiles. It's all big. It's all hugs. It's all family. And Roman tells him, you know what? Get Cody up. That guy cost me my title. Get Cody up. I want to get him one last time. Here's Solo holding Cody up for Roman Reigns. You think the spear's coming, and bam, the spear comes. He hits Solo Sikoa with the spear, and the crowd will just pop like an MFer. And that's how I would book Roman Reigns returning in this match and initiating the Bloodline Civil War.
I do want to add something just for we're talking about Bloodline and how Tribal Chief Solo in person with his entrance, with the lights they have, he kind of has the aura to be a tribal chief.
Yeah. Solo. We saw his Tron and entrance last night. There's something about, like, I don't know if they're doing it right on TV, but when his lights hit, they all aim down right at the entranceway, it's fucking sick. Solo has a sick entrance.
It's like, is he the tribal chief? I don't know about all that.
Hell no. You little imposter bitch.
I really like the.
Real quick, if you were ranking wrestling quality performers on the WWE roster, every wrestler right now who's active, where would you rank Jacob Fatu?
Like in terms of wrestling, like in-ring ability?
But I'm telling you, also performer for the crowd. Because Ricochet would be your one, but he wasn't the one performer, or else he'd still be in WWE. So where do you rank him overall with all those factors put in? I mean, he's kind of top 10 already.
He has to be at least top 10.
That ending, I know we all had a long night. The ending to SmackDown last night was cinema. He literally took 4 to 5 move sequence himself and just dominated.
Yeah, I'd say I was gonna say at least top 15, but yeah, based on performance alone, it is crazy too because if you had the same conversation about Jacob Fatu as a performer in AEW, it's like he will definitely rank differently because everyone is wrestling not necessarily capable of what he's doing, but they have the opportunity to showcase it. Whereas WWE, they're not always these long matches where they're allowed to do all these crazy moves that people have never seen before. But when a black sheep like Jacob Fatu does come to WWE and everyone realizes what he's capable of right away, it's like, holy shit.
It reminds me of AJ Styles when AJ Styles came to WWE.
Because sometimes they don't let these guys reach their full capability in terms of their moveset and what they're capable of in the ring, which is one thing I dislike about WWE. But Jacob Fatu, there's very you can't really tell him not to. He's just so good, and everyone realizes it the second he's on TV and running ropes.
It doesn't take incredibly smooth. It just looks
smooth. I want to ask McAdoo because he's a big Roman Reigns guy. Do you see one day Jacob Fatu possibly surpassing Roman Reigns as far as popularity and star quality and aura and all that?
Maybe in the future, but not anytime within the next 5 years.
And that's totally fair because 2016 Roman Reigns was nowhere near what 2023 Roman Reigns was.
Dog food,
so that's totally that. You need to get the time and the reps in for sure. But the smoothness of the moves, Roman does not have the moveset that Jacob Fatu had at that age.
For sure.
So I'm saying if you can continue to build that out by 35, by his late 30s, Jacob Fatu is going to be insane.
Well, what is he, 32?
He's 32.
We're looking up. He's 31, 32.
I was just going to say, too, there's no way. But like you just mentioned, Roman 5 years ago.
7 years ago, he was getting the boot. He got crushed by a certain man with hustle, loyalty, respect. 7 years ago, took Roman to the fucking woodshed on the mic, and literally gagged his ass in the middle of the fucking ring.
That was the only reason I was going to say too, because Jacob Fatu.
It's called the promo, kid. You have to learn it.
It's called the promo, kid.
See you, fourth wall.
Okay.
It was great. It was a great time. All right, so let's wrap all this up. We have the SummerSlam. We have our guys on the ground. We're going to get a full C Nation picture coming out of this. So check social media, check Twitter, Instagram, and all that stuff. Hopefully we'll see you in another show down the line. Maybe we'll do a show, a SummerSlam review this week. Maybe we'll touch on SummerSlam at an all-in preview in a couple of weeks. Special shout out to our sponsor for this show, Batavia Downs.
Batavia Downs! More, lots more!
So with that said, for Ali, for McAdoo, for Maniac, Slick, and the Prophet, I'm
the head of the table.
Telling everybody out there to have a good night now.